Oh, hello. What's going on here?
Hang on. I spilled dip down my top.
And you think that's an improvement?
Yeah. Buttoned it up wrong, haven't I?
Ladies, restrain yourselves.
Hang on.
Richard, this is Let's Talk Trek, not the full Monty.
Right. Here we are.
Dear viewer, if anyone has any requests, I'm ready to draw away. So, Dylan Draws is available.
Now, my favourite Dylan Draws was the one you drew of me on Mars.
Yes, that was a good one, wasn't it?
What else? What was making me so happy? I can't remember. Was I standing there?
You were watching C6 Steve in your biodome.
That's right, yes.
Well, what a week. It's a bit of a busy one. So, we're back on Let's Talk Trek, which is, of course, the UK's premier Star Trek show on a Sunday at 9 p.m. On Facebook.
It's the UK's only Star Trek show at 9 p.m. on Sunday on Facebook.
Well, we don't know if it's the only one. It could be one that we don't know about, so I was fine saying we're the premier one.
But we are not affiliated, associated, or in any way a part of CBS Studios and their associated industries and ventures.
Let's Talk Trek is not endorsed, sponsored, or affiliated with CBS Studios Incorporated. Paramount Pictures. Who's talking? Am I talking or are you, Richard?
I thought we were doing it together. Let's do it line for line. Hang on, let's do it again. And you do one line, then I'll do the other. Ready?
Okay, fine. I think I'm right. Let's Talk Trek is not endorsed, sponsored, or affiliated with CBS Studios Incorporated,
Paramount Pictures Corp, or the Star Trek franchise.
Star Trek, registered trademark, and its various marks are trademarks of CBS Studios Inc.
Terms and conditions apply.
If you've been affected by any of the storylines in tonight's Let's Talk Trek, here's our helpline number.
And don't forget, always ask the bill player's permission before signing up to a competition. Right. So.
You look very pale this evening. What's going on?
Oh.
Evening, Vegan Ruh. So I'm right in thinking it's been a UK Comic Con this weekend. I've seen lots of pictures.
Megan, hello.
James. No, maybe. Yes.
Sorry, I've got a very poor connection. I think I missed what you said there, Dan.
I said, am I right in thinking there has been some sort of UK Comic Con this weekend?
That's better.
Has there? I don't know. I must admit I've been out of the loop.
Well, fair enough. Right. So, what are we doing this week? Because I haven't even talked about the show.
Well, normally we talk about Star Trek, normally we don't talk about Star Trek, but we have been talking about Star Trek a lot for the last couple of weeks, so it feels like perhaps we should give that a bit of a break.
James, have you got a booze to review?
We're not doing booze
resting that feature, Dan.
We're giving that a rest for the moment. Yeah.
Okay.
So the problem is, since Picard has started, the show has been overtaken by us talking about Picard, which is fair enough, I feel. What ho, Meg? Can't know what time I see. You're wearing ears. Lovely. Whose cat's being really loud?
That's my cat. It's developed a fault.
Yeah, it sounds like it needs something lubing. What ho, Stephen? How you doing, chap?
Hello.
Please sing I Hate You.
Has anyone got a boombox?
What's
I hate you. That's the chap on the bus.
This is. We're going to talk about more about Picard in just a couple of minutes.
I was half asleep while I was watching Picard, but I remember enough of it that I can indeed participate in discussion about it.
Well, before we do, James or Richard, can you say the warning to people who may not have seen it this week yet?
Warning to people, If you haven't seen Picard yet, we will be talking about Picard. And unlike certain other shows that we might have watched, something has happened, and so there will be spoilers. We don't want to give away any spoilers, so if you haven't seen it yet, please switch off now. It's really loud.
In fact, if you haven't watched Picard yet, what are you doing watching us? I mean, surely the better use of your time would be watching Picard, which is some of the greatest Trek ever made.
It really is.
Anyone disagree with me there?
No, not at all.
No, it's certainly season 2 of Picard has been an emotional roller coaster of, well, it's been a smorgasbord of quality Trek, hasn't it? Let's be honest with you.
Smorgasbord. Lovely use of that word there.
Oh, it's just been outstanding.
So,
what can we talk about other than Picard? Because we don't.
No, we're going to go into Picard in just a moment. So,
let's talk about something else. This week I've been particularly daydreaming and excited about Destination. This shirt's still not on, right? Is it? I'm doing a Mario Balotelli. I can't really dress myself right. So this week it's still not right, is it?
Look, just don't draw attention to it. No one noticed.
No. I've been really excited about Destination Star Trek in September, and I'll tell you for why. I've been really busy.
Tell us for why, Richard.
I'll tell you for why now. The last couple of weeks, I've noticed that everything just seems to feel like it's gone back to normal a bit more, you know? And don't get me wrong, it was lovely seeing you guys all in September. Certainly meeting Nadim, I didn't recognize him with his mask off. Meeting Christoph and everyone, it was absolutely lovely. But the con itself, I didn't enjoy it because we all had to wear masks. I was uncomfortable. It did ruin the costumes, it ruined the photos. It was better than nothing. However, I'm really looking forward to this September because I'm fairly certain, and I don't want to curse it, but you know, we're going to have what's a con that we know and love, where we can all harvest each other's DNA properly without masks.
Oh, and we can chase rogue Klingon warriors through the hotel corridors.
I didn't get that, James. Sorry.
We can chase rogue Klingon warriors through the hotel corridors.
Something about a clitoris. But yeah, we're just really looking forward to it.
So James, unfortunately, is dealing with what, if you've watched Picard this week, is called a communications problem. I don't think there's enough relay stations on Earth, and James's communications are struggling.
Well, it is what it is.
Marvelous. So yes,
James,
I've been daydreaming.
Can you send your butler to go and get some more internet, please?
I told you to download enough before the show, but I really am looking forward to September.
This
I'm looking
person
forward
next to me is waiting for IT to have a chance to look at it to figure out why it's not connecting to any of my equipment. So I'm using a laptop on Wi-Fi, and my broadband is bad as it is.
Are you using Chrome?
Yes.
I can send you a tool to download some more RAM if you want.
No. IT have pointed out to you, James, that you can get hyperoptic broadband where you are, and it can be installed within 7 days.
Yes, but we'll discuss this later rather than bore the viewers with my IT issues.
But yes, in short, this week I've been daydreaming about September, seeing people, because a lot of people didn't go last September because they were put off because of COVID, which is fair enough. But I'm looking forward to having what I will call a proper convention and seeing everyone. I mean, there's some people I'm looking forward to seeing more than others. For example, I mean, like James, I see on a regular basis, so you know, whatever. But I don't see half as many of you, twice as much as I should like, and the rest of you half as much as you deserve.
Thank you. Right. Let's do it then. Let's natter Picard.
Right, we talk about Picard now.
Yay!
You ready? So, slide 1. Let's do it.
So this is Dr. Jurati, who, and forgive me, the actress's name?
Alison Pill.
Alison Pill, who I was not enamored with in season 1, is really coming into her own this season. She's been the standout surprise for me. She really has taken the role into her own, and she's delivering episode after episode. And for all that James will probably disagree with me here, and I'm holding this episode only to the standard of the other episodes. This one did feel like a bit of filler, but she was superb in it yet again.
I mean, I must
Remind
admit,
me what score you gave the episode out of 10?
15 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I was less generous. I gave it 14 out of 10.
You didn't watch the first 5 minutes then when everything evolved around the number 15.
so yeah, I mean, I was just saying to Richard that I also thought this episode was very much a filler episode this week. It was good, but the trouble is you hold it up against the first couple of weeks worth, which were superb. And
okay, it was very good. I mean, it was like 10 times better than any other episode of another sci-fi franchise series that I've watched. But the problem is the first 3 episodes of this were so good.
So Niven says his prediction is that she will take over from the Borg Queen.
Some people predict she already is the Borg Queen.
So you think when the mask is revealed, because obviously on the Stargazer the Borg Queen has a shroud on. We can't see who it is. You think that's Jurati out there, do you, Nadim? See, I have my own theory who that's going to be under there. So,
You think it'll be 7?
no, I don't
Who do you
think.
think it'll be?
I think it's going to be Worf.
Oh, that'll sink his Captain Warp series, won't it?
No, it's from the figure that the cut of the cloth, as it were. The figure's definitely feminine. There's no doubt about it. So it's going to be a lady, and yeah, she was shorter than 7, so you would think it possibly could be Jurati. So we shall see.
So the Jurati and Borg Queen interactions. There is that lovely sinister.
Oh, she's wonderful. The Borg Queen actress is absolutely wonderful. The only minor complaint is she's now coming across as a little bit vulnerable, which I don't like. I mean, I get they need to develop character for the story, but I don't like seeing the Borg Queen with any vulnerabilities at all, other than, oh shit, I've been beaten, I'm going to be blown up, and that's it. You know, to see her being backed into a corner reduces the threat of her a little bit, but a minor criticism.
We don't know, do we, how it is that Starfleet had somehow captured a Borg Queen and just had her in the deep freeze?
Well, Starfleet haven't. It's the evil Starfleet that have. I've forgotten what's evil Starfleet.
Yes, the Confederation.
Space Force. Yeah. So, yeah. Which, yeah. I don't know if any of our viewers watch Space Force. I binged season 2 this week. Oh, season 2 is so much better than season 1. I was laughing my balls off. It was absolutely superb.
It has had a season 3 renewal, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. And I don't want to give away any spoilers. So,
and let us not forget, dear viewer, that the people who make the sitcom Space Force got the intellectual property rights to the name Space Force before the US government did.
and the first season of Space Force was kind of hit and miss. Season 2 has been really good. So do yourselves a solid and watch that.
I mean, I'm not. Obviously, there's the. We keep moving into Space Force. It's very easy to draw comparisons to The Office because Steve Carell's in both. But
I've
The
not seen
Office.
The Office.
The Office got much better after season 1. Space Force got much better after season 1. So
was it because I absolutely despised Ricky Gervais's The Office? I mean,
the American Office.
Yeah, I'd rather stick cocktail sticks in my eyes than watch Ricky Gervais's Office. The American
watch the American Office. It's very good. Gervais is not in it.
Well, that sells it for me.
Yes,
it is the second thing I will watch to go and comfort myself like a warm blanket. If I'm not watching
Pornhub.
If I'm not watching Deep Space Nine, I will watch The Office.
What's your number one then? DS9, you said?
DS9.
Oh, wow. Okay,
it's a weird one for a comfort one, because if you want a feel-good one, definitely Voyager episodes normally no, I like soup for the soul.
I like DS9 for its
depth.
After season 3, it gets a bit more meaty.
Do you feel? I mean, I always felt more. I believe the right word is invested. I felt more invested in the characters and the plot. You should really feel more invested with Voyager because they're stranded and they're away from the Federation and everything, and you want them to get home. But I definitely felt more invested in what was happening in DS9. I cared more about what was happening to them.
Now, Christopher just asked, can you watch season 2 without seeing season 1? No, you'd need to see season 1 on Space Force.
Yeah, you need to see season 1 because you need to see a chimpanzee in space with a nut gun trying to fix a satellite. Because you haven't lived until you've seen that scene. It's just amazing.
Right. It is also today Mother's Day in the UK. So if you are if you are someone's mum, or your mum is still with us, or a stepmum or a grandmum or something like that, we're sending some love to all you guys today, because everyone appreciates that Mother's Day is a day that's special. So let's say hello to all the mothers, including.
Yes, but we all return to our mother churches.
And let's say hello to the most famous mother in Star Trek, the Borg Queen, mother of millions. So.
Oh no, the biggest MILF is Beverly Crusher.
But don't forget, we've got Picard's mum turning up a fair amount at the moment. You know, we're seeing that.
I like it. Yeah, she's lovely. I'm not a big fan. Yes, that was sweep. I'm not a big fan of flashbacks and stuff, but I like the actress they've got in to play Picard's mum. She's quintessentially English. It's marvelous.
So should we go for our next slide?
Please do.
Yes. So
this is Gotrek from, as Warhammer followers will know, Gotrek and Felix. He's a troll slayer in the Warhammer universe. It's lovely they've given him a cameo in this. He's holding a Casio boombox with stickers on it.
And really, it is who, Richard? Do you know who it really is?
I don't know. No, who is it?
This is the punk rocker from The Voyage Home.
Is it the same actor?
Mr. something Thatcher. Grant Thatcher, I think his name is.
So, and who was he really? Do we know the backing story, or do I need to educate people?
He was one of the... was he an assistant director on The Voyage Home or a co-producer?
This is Kirk Thatcher.
Kirk Thatcher.
He was the punk on the box in The Voyage Home. Now, what you don't know is he was an associate producer on Star Trek 4, and he got a bit of screen time as the punk rocker. He's also the voice, I believe, behind the song. I want to say that.
But I'll tell you what, though, what a wonderful nod and throwback it was.
Absolutely. And as long as you don't look at this slide and realise that he's got one hand significantly smaller than the other in this picture, I don't know if it's the angle it's been taken at, which I now can't see and not unsee.
Is he Jeremy Beadle?
I think he is.
Well, I think it's just because he's got his hand halfway up his sleeve. That's what's going on.
I think it's going to be Beadle's about. But
it was a lovely little throwback.
Well, I will throw, because I have to be fair, and I throw a lot of criticism at other Star Trek shows for this. I thought it was a lovely throwback, but why tell him off and then him just unreservedly apologise and just say it's his favourite song?
Well, Richard, if you read the article that I sent you a link to earlier, they've done a bit of a deep dive on this and said, look, you have to remember that the timeline has changed, and anything that's happened to him from time travelers in the past is from the alternate timeline now, not the one we're familiar with. So it might not be that Spock gave him a neck pinch this time round. He might have had the evil version of Kirk and Spock give him a proper pasting when they came back in time to rescue the whales.
Either way, I just wanted to see Seven punch him. But yeah, I would have preferred to have seen the outcome instead of, I can't do a Spock nerve punch. I'd like to see that. Because let's face it, that's all what we all want to see, isn't it, when you get a dickhead like that on the bus? So
let's move on then. So, Rios is detained at an immigration facility for not being able to prove his citizenship.
Now, all of these scenes were filmed, I think, they were poignant, and I think they were done with really good taste. A lot of thought went into them. You know, it is a social statement to the society we're living in now, especially in North America. And it would have been very easy to serve this up on a plate of just making sure everyone knows that they're evil and privileged for even existing in this world. But they served this up with the discretion and the maturity and the representation that it deserved. And yeah, you sit there and you watch it and you think, if this is the future, we've got to stop this. I thought it was very well handled.
There was a gentleman on social media, and it's been doing the rounds, who complained to an actor or an actress or a producer, I can't remember what it was. And this weekend they said, I'm not watching any more Picard. It's obviously got a agenda for showing immigration and the issues. And it's just like, how can you not see that Star Trek throughout its entire history has always been about the issues of the day and looking at them and addressing these things head on? You know,
that's what this is what Star Trek. Yeah, Star Trek. This is why I fell in love with Star Trek, is because it tackles it. Again, when it tackles it poorly, I'll hold it accountable for that, because when you handle these things poorly, it lessens the impact. But when you do it right, like Picard's doing, I'm really impressed. Really impressed with this week's episode in that regard.
One of the standout moments of Rios in prison is when the guard asks him who he is, and he gives him the correct answer.
Yes, you're not going to believe this, but
my name is
James. As my lawyer, if I use that next time I'm locked up, will that hold any sway, or should I just not say anything?
They may think you're just a bit harmless and let you go. I don't know. It might be worth a punt, Richard.
I'll give it a go next time I'm withheld.
It'd be better than the defence I assemble for you anyway.
Absolutely. Yes. Defence can't be, here, Judge, have a bottle of Anno gin, can it? That's not a defence.
Oh, go on, let him off. It's a lovely day.
And this is a lovely gin.
See you at the club?
Let's move along. So,
incidentally, fans of television series The Rookie, I think, Richard, you watched The Rookie, because I found it on Plex.
I don't know what The Rookie is, sorry.
I do.
Oh, okay. Well, The Rookie is a Nathan Fillion show, and the police station that's based in...
He's from Firefly.
Very similar that appeared in Picard this week.
It is, yes. So, here we are. Picard's back at Forward Street. And again, we can see number 10 behind, Sanctuary District. Here you can see just the tail light here of the new Ford Bronco.
And also, if you could move the pointer slightly to the left of that blue vending machine.
Yeah.
That's the Crushnator from Futurama.
It's interesting to see that they've got the Ford Bronco in, because obviously it's one of the newer, bigger sellers in America at the moment. And if you are very lucky, you can actually buy one. There's a short of them over in the States. So a nice bit of product placement there.
Also, the registration plate of that vehicle, Dan, is SE0102. No, what is it? SE2E1, which is the episode number that Guinan first appears in.
Let's have a look. So Christoph says, next time you're locked up, how often have you been locked up? Goodness me, Richard.
Well, I've only been arrested. Am I okay to discuss this, James?
Yes, that's fine.
Right. Yeah. So I've only been arrested twice, and I've only been in the cell once. To answer your question, and on neither times I was not charged.
Wonderful. Katie, hello, Katie. I think
Hey,
earlier
Katie.
tracks tend to cloak the current social issues in.
Yeah. So this is something. This is something I when you address these, and they are important to address, and this is why we fall in love with Star Trek, and why I think we should talk about them. You have to do it in a way whereby, whether for right or wrong, you're not going to be blunt, put someone's back up. You have to do it in a way that actually makes people think, rather than just slapping them in the face and telling them that they're wrong. That's why I've disagreed with how it's being done in certain other Star Trek franchises at the moment, and why I think it's been doing so well in Picard.
Now, my little gripe with this scene, if I had one, is
yes,
we know that they've been on the La Serena before they've beamed into modern day America. Why is Picard still wearing the humongous comm badge? You think he would have chosen something a little bit more discreet, or got replicated something a bit smaller, or
I think the replicators were offline. I think that's what I had.
Okay, so let's move on to our next slide. So yeah, lovely entrance scene here. This poster is in the background.
Yes. Yes, this has appeared in both Enterprise and Deep Space Nine. Am I right? This poster.
Yeah.
It has, yeah.
Paramount Sports, of course. Arena.
Yeah, so this poster is just a little Easter eggy throwback thing that has popped up. So it's very interesting just to sort of see bits like that incorporated in. Right,
beautiful Easter egg work going on there. Lovely continuity throughout.
Let's talk about Easter eggs.
So, contrary to a lot of the forums I've seen, this isn't a sex toy that Picard's found and looks so happy about. This is, in fact, Saurian brandy.
It is.
Indeed. I mean, if you want to know the real life origin of that, it's a bottle of it's Tennessee whiskey, and the name of which has now escaped me. Dickel, Dichel.
Yes, it is a lovely bottle of Saurian brandy, and it was the look of joy on Picard's face when he saw it. It was that sort of realization that he knew he was in the right place, and the person he wanted to was there. It's that sort of tie back to a time he remembered. Which was lovely. Well, got my slides.
Yes.
We'll come back to that one, so we'll skip on to this one.
So can we have? I mean, I've drawn my own conclusions, but looking at this picture now and seeing what they've done with it, are we agreed that is a bottle of Gentleman Jack that they've got on the table there?
What's it? Is there like a giant ice cube in the middle of it? What's going on?
That's the label from the other way around, James. But
I see. Right. Oh, yeah. We're looking at the back of the bottle. Right. I'm with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have my own theories. I'd rather hear yours because you speak more sense than me. Why have they decided to de-age Guinan?
Right. Well, while people are talking about that, let's talk about what the comments we have got. Christoph says that FYI, Patterns of Force was not shown in Germany or Austria until a late night cineastic art program featured in the late 1990s.
It's the same bottle. Look.
And then Casey said, admittedly, my mind is comparing from TNG onwards. I'm far less familiar with TOS. It just seems to me that the frequency of such bluntness has gone up. But I can't say that I can really back my position up from much. Just my brain sort of perceived that various series? None of these look like they're evolving over time.
You can't argue with the importance of Star Trek doing it, and to be blunt, it's responsibility to do it.
The trouble is, as well, we live in an age these days where and it's going to make me sound old, but we live in an age these days where subtlety and it is almost a lost art form. If you want to get through to someone, shock and bluntness is how you do it these days. You know?
I'd disagree with that because Picard's been doing it superbly this season.
I mean, generally.
And I think that's possibly why we live in a society where opinions are polarized so much. You know, why there is so much that there's a complete lack of middle ground these days, especially in the UK. I think possibly that could be why. I think a lot of people feel that the only way to get their point across is to wave it in front of someone else's face and slap them in the face with it and shout at them they're wrong, as opposed to taking the time to engage them. I think that's something that's sadly has been apparent since the late 90s and onwards.
So like you say, here is a younger version of Guinan, complete with 12 gauge pump action, because phases.
So why do we think that she's decided to, why the showrunners decided to cast a younger actress in the role? What do we think? Do we think that there's going to be, obviously there wasn't in this episode, but do we think perhaps that it's going to be a more demanding physical role? Is she going to play an action part, which clearly Whoopi Goldberg couldn't do? What do you think, James?
Well, I think that, I mean, when you had Time's Arrow and you had Guinan cast as young Guinan and 24.
And what do you think, Dan?
I mean, I think one of the reasons that they cast it young is to make that sort of visual thing that this is the past. You know.
You think it was done just for aesthetic, just to reinforce this is an earlier version of Guinan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the trouble is, I think we all, as fans and the proper geeks and the people that watch the shows like this and stuff, we all focus a little bit too much on, in Time's Arrow, Guinan was there and she would have recognised. This is a completely different timeline, and they're trying to prove that this is further back in its past. So why not use a younger actress? There is plenty of instances in Star Trek where actors and actresses have played the same role several times. I mean, I can think of at least 3 different actors who played Kirk. We don't wheel out William Shatner every time we want to do Kirk. You don't.
I don't think there should be a debate on whether or not they should have done it. I'm trying to guess why they've done it. That's the thing. What's the reason behind it?
Let's have a look. So Christoph says that Guinan's young age is confusing, but we don't know how Guinan got to the 19th century US. Absolutely. And Nadim says, we hope we see her again. She's so badass. We love her attitude. Casey says she likes both sides, like apples and oranges. Both good, but also versions, if you know what I mean. So there's this discussion where Picard's obviously called her an Elorian, which is a word that probably no one else on the Earth knows at that point. So,
well, apart from Mark Twain, he would have known.
Yeah.
But that, I think that's certainly, I think we can prove without a doubt that must be a bottle of Gentleman Jack.
I don't think it is. The curvature on the top of the bottle's wrong.
Think so?
Yeah.
Yes, I think my own theory is that she's going to play more of an action role, and that's why they've cast it.
Richard, can you read that one out for me?
Yes, absolutely. Stefania, more disturbing than the age was to me the behaving way out of character. The Guinan I love is kind of a distant spectator and not a cynical being. So this is where it's thrown the character in flux, because back in Time's Arrow, a much younger, we're assuming a much younger Guinan, if she hasn't time traveled, was a much more measured personality than this, dystopian version of Guinan. But we don't know that this dystopian version of Guinan hasn't been affected by some other timeline or something. I think some more's got to be revealed about why they've done it. My theory is just because she's going to have more of an action role, but we'll see.
I was actually expecting Picard to say to this Guinan that he'd been interacting with Q, because we know that Guinan had dealings
We
with Q.
know what you want.
Yeah, and he didn't mention it at all, which is a bit of a shame. Now, moving swiftly on, we'll go for our next. When Picard says to Guinan to stick with humanity, give him a couple more days, because the task he needs to do is going to be in that next few days. And we've seen Guinan at this point is planning to leave. She's donated away her dog, which has got on well Picard, and she's given away things.
What has she got in that box?
It's a teddy bear.
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
Cheers. You know, and he's just saying to her, just hold out. You know, and she said, "Well, you need to find a watcher." Right, moving on.
Yes. Now this is interesting because this was a disjointed scene at the end that you go, well, what happened there? You know, it's teed us up for next week.
Poor old Q's firing blanks.
So Q is wearing the Europa mission top, and we can only assume that he's meant to be somebody that's working on the project.
He's really trying to prevent or influence something, isn't he? There's no two ways about it. I personally think it's going to turn out that Q is actually trying to help. I think that's going to be the twist at the end of the season. I think Q's trying to prevent something awful happening that he kind of blames Picard for, maybe, or something. It's going to turn out in a misguided way that Q's actually trying to help somehow.
Haven't we always thought that about Q, that in some respects, no matter what traumas he puts everybody through, he does it actually for a good reason?
Now, as you can see on the newspaper here, Brinner fights unionization. Obviously, that's a throwback to the Deep Space Nine episode with the Sanctuary Districts, because that's the gentleman who helps Dax out, the chap who's a very rich man, a very influential man.
And that's at exactly this point in time as well, isn't it? Because we're in the right time frame for the Bell riots.
I think I'm going to throw this out there now, and I think that something that's happening now down the line is going to affect the continuum, and that's what Q is trying to prevent or sort from happening. Something monumental, possibly even to do with the evacuation and the Mars shipyards and artificial intelligence, and possibly even the artificial intelligence becoming a threat to the continuum itself. I think it's all going to be tied in nicely with that, but we'll see.
Now, we moved from this scene where Q was watching and reading his newspaper to the one where Guinan says she can take Picard to a watcher, that she claims she's not the watcher, and the watchers are designed to watch over certain people or families or timelines and make sure that certain things happen to them. And after a very small, creepy child with white eyes and a couple of different people body switching, we get to this just before the last bit, where the watcher appears to be Laris.
Yes, but with human ears.
Indeed. And there's a sort of almost, when you saw the transport away, what did you think of, James? Was it not almost quantum leapy in it?
Yes, yeah, it was. It was a sort of grey smoky sphere. No, rectangle, wasn't it? A bit like the imaging chamber door.
I looked at it and went, well, that's very quantum leap.
Oh.
I think this might tie in quite well to Laris's character in the Prime timeline, because Picard is such an important and integral piece of history through the Federation's timeline, and certainly Q is always on his case. If there was a watcher, it would make sense that one would be close to him. You know, even in the Prime timeline, I think Laris may well be the watcher there as well. I think it's very, very possible.
I think it's very hard to guess Q's motivation for anything, if I'm honest.
I think possibly, yes. That's a good theory, Christoph. I think that's a very good theory. I think it's down to the artificial intelligence and the ban on synthetics. I think it's all going to be tied in.
Because obviously we know that there is Discovery, especially Discovery Season 2, focus very much on artificial intelligence as a threat, with control, for instance. So maybe we're going to see some sort of other artificial intelligence threat.
Well, at the end of Season 1 of Picard, we saw that massive rupture open up and this spiky thing try and come through. And we were never told, but we were all assuming that's the culmination of the artificial intelligence that's
Oh, yes. What was it? It looked like the Dr. Octopus, didn't it? From
yes,
Spider-Man.
Dr. Octopus. So I think, like, fast forward, and I think AI has got to the point where it's actually going after omnipotent beings. It's got temporal awareness, and it's going after species like the Q. So, yes, very good chance. So Okana, very good chance that could happen. She could be a supervisor, quite right.
So, yeah, I mean, so this has been... It was a good episode this week. It was a really good episode of Picard. But it
was a bit of filler, yeah.
It did feel a little bit fillery. And that... I mean, I'm interested to see, obviously, what next week's going to bring. Can we talk very quickly about the speed at which Seven was able to drive? Never been in a car.
In a very geeky way, I was trying to think about this because she's had all her, with the implants taken out, she's had all of her enhancements as a Borg removed as well, hasn't she? Mm-hmm. I mean, we're assuming she doesn't have her strength and do you remember the DS9 episode, the Voyager episode, where she was in a Kumite fight with the Rock from WWE? And it was revealed, because of her, she's got enhanced reflexes, strength, speed, stamina, all sorts of things because of her Borg implants. It's not been touched upon, but I've just assumed because the things missing from around her face, she no longer has these abilities. I think I might be wrong. I think it might be just aesthetic. But then this was the bit that called that into question when they couldn't do the time jump without Spock. They had to use the Borg Queen. Well, they had Seven, with all her enhancements. She should have been able to do it. So perhaps all of her abilities were removed as well.
So the driving thing, I had an actual thought on this, which was Seven has obviously spent a lot of time on Voyager, and we know Tom Paris had several holodeck programs incorporating classic American cars. Maybe he taught us to drive. It could be something as simple as that.
So rather than playing car chase games on something like a gamer's console, they would do it on the holodeck.
But it was in North America, so presumably it was an automatic, so anyone could have jumped and done that.
Well, yeah, maybe.
I did enjoy them beaming out of the car, though, just as the police caught up to them. That was fun.
They're not doing very well.
It drifts back to the voyage home, doesn't it, where they beam out of the elevator while it's in transit.
They're not doing very well at this butterfly thing, though, are they?
No,
they're not keeping a low footprint by any means.
I don't understand why they're even trying, considering it's been orchestrated by Q. I wouldn't be. I'd go in there with a phaser and just shot everyone.
I gather that there is an Easter egg. If you look closely, you'll see butterflies painted all over the place on the set.
Yeah. So, and so look, Estefania says, obviously, Laris is a Time Lord. That's the only possible explanation. Now, I've heard a rumor that there is going to be if you are a Doctor Who fan, there is going to be a reveal of the new Doctor at the end of the next episode, which is something like the 20-something of April, whatever it is.
Certainly a rumor, but there's been nothing else that's leaked about the production of New Who. I, for one, though, am very much looking forward to it with the showrunner coming back, RTD.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are going to be all liaising in real life this week, so next week's show should be fun and interesting. Carl sends his apologies. He's not able to attend this week. He's busy dealing with Mother's Day. He works in the hospitality industry, and it's a very busy day for himself. And I think that's it. I think we've wrapped up on talking through Picard today. So,
don't forget the wish clip.
have you got it?
Do we have the wish clip, Richard?
Well, I've not downloaded it. No, we can share it.
We'll do that next week, James. We'll pull the wish clip for next week.
Okay, it can wait. It's not urgent.
Sorry, I was asleep. Yeah, so that is more or less a wrap on this week's show. We're going to shorten this week's one up. I'm going to give some breathing space for next week. I think that's we'll buy some time for next week's show. If that's okay with you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look after yourselves and each other.
Thank you guys.
Keep peeled.